welcome back to Influential Individuals. Today, our story opens on the French island of Corsica, a French schoolyard where a young, scrappy outsider named Napoleon Bonaparte stands up to his bullies twice his size. And although just 5'6", with spindly legs, always clad in red trousers, little Napoleon dreamed bigger than any man in all of Europe. Though born in Corsica in 1769, young Napoleon detested studying dull law in Paris while his homeland suffered under the French rule. And so, he decided to join a noble cause, the French artillery. But it turns out hauling cannons under the hot sun was less noble and more sweaty manual labour. And as expected, Napoleon recoiled at hauling heavy boxes, preferring to read philosophy books under the shade of his artillery tent. His dinner plate was often pinched by ruffian soldiers. Poor tiny Bonaparte, too petite to protect his own precious food rations. But Napoleon's big intellect proved his saving grace, rapidly ascending the military ranks in his 20s. In 1793, the unknown 24-year-old Captain Bonaparte helped retake the French port city of Toulon from French rebel forces by cleverly positioning his cannons. And now this eye-catching victory is what first earned Napoleon his reputation as a brilliant military strategist. And over the next several years, Napoleon rose swiftly through the ranks during the French Revolutionary Wars by showcasing both courage and innovation on the battlefield. His successful Italian campaigns of 1796 and 1797 forced Austria and several other enemies to sue for peace on unfavourable terms for them. But Napoleon's bold invasion of Egypt in 1798 would prove more troubled, ending with the destruction of his fleet by the British. However, his early daring manoeuvres and battle triumphs made it clear that this young ambitious officer was destined to shake the continent and radically reshape war in the dawning 19th century. And as Napoleon's war victories piled up, his ambition expanded. By 1799, Boney overthrew France's directory system and crowned himself first consul, wielding absolute power over a tattered nation of France. He became the beloved little corporal, 5 foot 6 inches of fierce pride rallying the French spirit. If things were looking up from the start, Napoleon instituted reforms like the brilliant Napoleonic Code, while also waging wars across Europe. Armies marched from Lisbon to Moscow as Bonaparte built an empire rivaling that of ancient Rome's. Not bad for an undersized Corsican meant to study laws instead of battle tactics. And from grand new national monuments to bold fashion trends like waistcoats, French influence flourished during the Napoleonic era. The emperor especially loved hats to offset his petite dimensions, donning excessive plumes, jewels, and even a solid gold laurel wreath over his bold ambitions. But many European leaders scorned the small dictator invading their lands. And so, in 1812, a coalition of Russian, Austrian, and German forces assembled to crush the mini-monarch they called the world's disturber. And in pursuit of this goal, he initiated the ill-fated Russian campaign in 1812, leading the Grand Army deep into Russian territory. But little did he know, another adversary awaited him: the Prussians. Now, Prussia, a powerful German state, had suffered defeat at the hands of Napoleon in 1806 at the Battle of Jena-Auerstedt. The humiliating Treaty of Tilsit followed, reducing Prussia's size and influence. However, the Prussians, under leaders like General Gebhard Leprecht von Blücher, were determined to regain their lost prestige. Now fast forward to 1812, as Napoleon advanced into Russian territory, the Prussians saw an opportunity to break free from French influence. In the Battle of Leipzig in 1813, also known as the Battle of Nations, the Prussians, along with other allies, faced off against Napoleon's forces. The Battle of Leipzig was a colossal conflict. Involving hundreds of thousands of soldiers, the Prussians played a crucial role in the Allied forces, contributing significantly to Napoleon's ultimate defeat. Now, Blücher's strategic prowess and the determination of Prussian troops proved instrumental in the turning tide against the French, and the defeat at Leipzig marked a turning point in Napoleonic Wars. Napoleon's forces retreated and Prussia regained its independence. The victorious allies marched towards Paris, ultimately leading to Napoleon's abdication in 1814. Exiled to Elba Island, the faded emperor now spent his days sulking over lost glory. And so by 1815, Napoleon had already been exiled once from power after his disastrous Russian invasion. After briefly regaining control of France earlier that year, Napoleon knew he needed a quick victory to cement his rule as the emperor. And so, He took his army into what is now Belgium, expecting to defeat the British and the Prussian forces arrayed against him. And on June 18, 1815, Napoleon attacked the combined British and Prussian armies near the village of Waterloo, trusting his superior artillery and cavalry, but Napoleon delayed his infantry advance, allowing the Prussians to arrive as reinforcements. And as the battle raged, Napoleon's feared cavalry charges struggled to break the Allied defensive squares. Meanwhile, the sturdy British and Prussian infantry lines held despite heavy casualties, and by nightfall, the superior numbers of the Allies had prevailed, forcing Napoleon to retreat. And a mere 4 days after his catastrophic loss at Waterloo, Napoleon surrendered, ending both his storied 100 days return to power and his reign as French Emperor. Exiled once more, he would soon die just 6 years later in 1821 on the remote island of St. Helena, far from the nation that he had fought so hard to rule. Waterloo marked the climax of decades of world-shaking warfare under Napoleon that reshaped Europe. And today, he remains among history's greatest military masterminds, always charging into battle with fearless ambition despite his petite proportions. Do you have any ideas for specific topics or timelines or persons? If you do, shoot them down in the comments below and it might be your idea in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about the legends who shaped our world. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted.
We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds.
We choose to go to the moon, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.